Hello everyone, I'm Brandon, and today we're going to be learning how to paint digitally with colors. Picking colors for your scene and making them fit and making them blend well and having a palette and all the other good stuff that comes with colors. I'm going to be going over hue shifting, lighting, and just color theory in general, just some very basics in color theory. As well as an exercise that I want you guys to practice in order to kind of get these concepts down. Even before jumping into one of your own paintings or one of your own illustrations, try to test these color theories out and how light interacts with them. Okay. I've already done the liberties of drawing up the example. Now you can see this is a very basic scene. Let's just take one square of this right now. The very basic scene of a light bulb, a little light bulb here, right there, and a ball. A ball is going to be lit by the light bulb, and then a surface right down here. And this is going to allow us to kind of like play around with the colors. So let's kind of jump right into it. Let's create a layer right beneath it. And before doing anything, something that you should always keep in mind is the color of the light. Light can actually have many different colors, obviously. It's not always white. Shouldn't really use white. Even things that you see as white light have a certain hue to them. Such as indoor lighting is usually yellow, fluorescent lighting would be green, and outdoor lighting has a slight blue tint to it. That being said, knowing your lighting also helps you understand how that light is going to interact, or how the color of that light is going to interact with the color of the objects. So for right now, let's kind of pick a yellow light. High. You can see the color that I'm picking right now is incredibly desaturated. The more you go in this kind of left area of the color picker, the more desaturated the color is. And the further you go to the right is the more saturated colors. And then up and down is light or dark. So you can get a lighter yellow or darker yellow. I want a desaturated yellow for right now. Very bright, desaturated yellow. And that's because when colors kind of go into their... actually, I'll go into that in a second. So I'm going to paint this little light bulb here. Yellow. Boom. Bam. And now we're going to have to think of what's the local color of our object. The local color being its true color. Usually when we think of the true color, you can say that, like, take these curtains for instance behind me. Now, you can see that there's some yellow maybe, some white, some other stuff, but they're brown. They're brown curtains, and that's kind of what I'm saying. It's the color that you think of no matter what light's interacting with it. It's just the idea of the color. So, for right now, let's see. I want to make it blue. And I'm going to start with the shadow of this color, just because it's usually easier to paint light than to paint shadow. Just because you can kind of figure out the direction of it and not try to figure out, hey, how's this going to be casting down? Or how's this going to be obscuring if my object. Now, I'm going to I'm picking a desaturated dark blue. And the reason for this is also when things get too bright, they get desaturated. When things get too dark, they get slightly desaturated. This isn't the case of all times, and you can always, this is more of a stylistic choice. You can do well with saturated shadows, but I like to keep mine desaturated in order to make the midtones and highlights a little bit brighter. The more contrast you have, the better the object kind of speaks. So let's paint this blue. It's dark blue. I don't care. I'm just doing it rough. I don't know, the sensitivity kind of. Just erase the edges. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so we have our ball, we have our light. Now, what color, or what material is this ball? If we want to make it a kind of shiny object, that means the light is going to be, the light's color is going to show through more and be a little bit more pinpoint. It's just going to have a very sharp specular. You know when you see those anime eyes and they have that little white circle to show the highlight, just show the specular of the eye? It's because the eye is glossy and it shows the material. If you want to make something look a little bit more matte or a little bit it's less shiny, you would mix the local color with the light of the object and kind of like spread it throughout. It's less direct. It's a little bit easier to show or create different materials through that way. So if it's metal, you do higher, and if not. So I want to make it shiny, because I like shiny things. So before I go into the highlight, I want to do the midtones. I want to kind of work my way into the highlights. So this is actually pretty good. You can see right in those two boxes, or right there, right here, those two boxes, that's our local color, or local shadow color, and the light. And so you have to think, what is the quickest way, or what is the quickest way from our color bar right here on the side? See this thing? So what is the quickest way to get from here to yellow? And that's going down. It's going down here. It's not going up through here. It's going down through here. So that means when we mix our colors, we want to make it go down towards yellow, not go up towards yellow, because color wheel is a circle. And so you can go either way, but you want to pick the quickest way. Got it? Got it so far? I hope I'm not explaining this terribly. Okay, so let's kind of move slightly down and move up to make it brighter and make it a little bit more saturated, because the colors are starting to shine through. And let's make it pretty saturated. I want to make it like really vibrant. And so we're going to say the light's coming kind of down, straight on, not behind, it's going to be in front. So just kind of paint this on. Just really quickly. Push down a little harder at some areas. Oop, fuck. I mean, not curse words. I don't swear. I'm a good person. So let's do a little bit of blending. I'm doing this really roughly, as you can see. It's not really. Maybe fast forward through this. I don't know. I don't know what kind of editing I'm going to be doing on this, the first tutorial. Okay. You kind of want to, when shading a ball, you kind of want to think of the ellipses going around the ball. And balls are like ogres. They're like with layers and onions and all that other good stuff. So, terrible Shrek joke. Okay, so we have our midtone, and it's really roughly put down. Now we want to make it shiny, right? So let's grab this highlight and say, the light is coming right here. Right there. Let's even grab some of this blue and see what's happening. Okay, so this isn't a color I picked. This is the transparency on my brush, that yellow going to the blue, and you can see that we're going the right way on the color spectrum. We're going down towards yellow, towards the greens, instead of going up towards the purples. So because I picked this color, which is kind of like a light, very hot blue, instead of just going straight from the mid-tone to this specular highlight, I kind of want to add another layer to it. So I'm going to take this blue, and let's see. Last one's there. Let's kind of connect the dots. Let's kind of saturate a little bit, make it brighter. Let's increase our brush size and kind of blend a little bit more. Let's blend it a bit more. There we go. Just Bob Ross it. There we go. I'm just gonna paint a happy little ball. It's just gonna be a happy little ball. It's gonna be a secret. Only me and you will know. The jokes. Alright, and now we can do our highlight. The super blown out. I kind of want to blow it out a little bit more, even though our light isn't that color, but it's fine. Blow it out a bit. Okay. That's alright. Look at it from far. That's okay. But we're missing something. Missing something very important that will take this shaded ball to the next level. And that's bounce light. Now, bounce light is dependent upon the objects surrounding the object that we're thinking about. And this can get very complicated if you have a lot of objects in your scene, because then you have to think about, okay, so now the light's bouncing off of this, and that's bouncing off of this, and light loses intensity after it bounces, which is a little bit of a saving grace to us, so we don't have to mirror all of our shiny objects. So let's think. So this line here, let's kind of go, think of this as a table. Let's try to think of a color this table could be. And I'm kind of thinking of let's go with a green. I think green would be nice. Kind of like a dark, again, if you want to make something brighter or darker, like if you don't want to just keep picking colors down here, the whole curve of this desaturated to saturated of the midtone and this desaturated of the highlight, it works well even on small scale. So if you're like painting skin, for instance, it'll be all up here. It's just going to be a curve that comes around here, and it's going to hue shift around the reds and oranges while it goes up and down. The shadows are going to be red because of subsurface scattering, but I'll get into that hopefully in another video. For now, let's focus on our shiny blue ball, like I am being so focused with my ADHD. So yeah, let's pick this color. I like dark greens. Let's paint our dark green background. Just down here. Blah blah blah. Just kind of throw it in there. Whoop. I should probably actually change to like a solid brush and stuff like that. Okay. So we have our green floor, and this green floor is interacting with this yellow light. Again, closest thing from green to yellow. It's kind of going down here. Think of our true color, our local color. And our local color seems to be like this grass green. It's like a really muddy green. I'll just paint around this. Remember where the light's coming from. Just kind of doing this to get the point. No, don't have to be too clean with it. I have like a little shadow around there. And again, you can get a little bit closer if you want it. Like that. Okay. So we have our background, our thing we're bouncing the light off of. And the thing that's, we have to think of the local color of this grassy, flory thing bouncing up into the blue ball. So this light right here, shining down like Spider-Man, I don't know. Shining down, it's bouncing off. It's going to this ball. So it's now picking up this green hue. And that is going to be where our shadows are, right here, along this edge. So, let's kind of think. So we're getting hit by a green. Green's not that far. Again, think closest color from blue to green. And that's heading towards the cyan kind of thing. But we want to make sure that's in low intensity, kind of the same range of our midtones and saturation, but staying dark because it's very low in intensity. So I'm going to pick a color around here. I'm going to just lightly blend it in down here, because I'm not too sure about what exactly I'm going to be doing down here. And that looks almost right. Let's make sure I kind of dial it back a little bit. I like this color that's coming through. And that's a great part. Something that you want to do is either alt-click or set up your hotkeys of your keyboard. Always have one hand on your keyboard and the other hand on your stylus, your drawing utensil. And so you can quickly pick colors and kind of blend those colors through and pick another color. And, you know, it's just always good to do. Now, let's kind of zoom out a bit. Now you can kind of see, maybe a little bit more green. Kind of like around there. There we go. Again, let's probably spend a lot more time on this and maybe even use a different brush. The brush I'm using is just kind of a really sketchy brush. It's a chalk brush, I think it's called. And yeah, I'd probably spend a lot more time kind of smoothing out the colors. But if I zoom out, you can kind of see what we have going on. Now I'm going to show the colors that we've done so far. So we look at our highlight, and it's a light color. That's the color of our highlight, and it's going to be shiny. So super, you know, concentrated there. And we go down, up. So it goes straight up really quickly from green to like the cyan blue. And you can see the saturation is going from super desaturated and bright to a little bit closer to heavy saturation and a little bit in the midtones and darker. And we kind of venture down, you can see it's starting to get to that darker blue. Getting really close to that darker blue. Up. And we get to the shadow color right here, which is not as saturated as our midtones. Actually, I may want to bring out that midtone a bit. But it's not as saturated as our midtones. Sorry. It's habit. I see something wrong, I must fix it. But it's not saturated, and it kind of does this kind of like swirly loop thing. It's kind of like arching D or C curve of light, of color, as well as kind of switching, and it kind of goes back down to green, because that's the light that's now hitting down here. And you can kind of see this better, hopefully, if I turn off the lines and see what this looks like. Okay, super rough, but if you kind of squint your eyes or like look at it from afar, you kind of see that the colors are working here. There's a lot of brightness to the colors and a lot of things that you can do. Anyway, I'm gonna start wrapping this up. Make sure you guys try this out. This will help you in all of your illustrations to come. Hopefully I'll start uploading more tutorials. Anyway, hope this helps you out. If you guys have anything that you'd like to see or any feedback, please message me any way you can. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off. This is Brandon. You guys have a good one. Be good.